things up. And I spoke with Pastor Brian at Barrow, Alaska, and explained to him he wanted to know kind of how our services went and how we minister and what to expect when we got there, and if we'd have an opportunity to meet with him on our way up, so we would kind of know each other a little bit, and so we did. And as God would have it, all that worked out just perfect. And so I told him, I said, you know, usually an hour is not going to, I said, we can keep it to an hour if you want, but typically we don't look at the clock when we start. We go until we feel the Spirit has finished the work that He has for us to do. And so after a little bit took a conversation, he said, well, I think that'd be a good thing. So we're going to be doing that Thursday and Friday night. So we'll be 4 nights in Wainwright, 2 nights in Barrow, and we fly down to Fairbanks. And then the Saturday when we get to Fairbanks, we'll go out to North Pole, and they're going to have a barbecue for us there when we get there, and then we'll minister there that night. And then Sunday we'll be in Two Rivers, and the pastor in Two Rivers, Pastor Bob, we've communicated a few times and not a whole lot. And I was telling Greg and Susie, I said, man, I said that last Sunday that we'll be in 3 weeks from today, we'll be in Two Rivers, and that's going to be our last night to minister while we're in Alaska. And I was telling Greg and Susie, man, it'd be really nice if it could just kind of, if that last Sunday could just kind of be a Sunday that we could just kind of let the Spirit just have the day. When I got a hold of Pastor Bob, he said, well, we have Sunday school at 10, and the service starts at 11, and then we're going to have potluck at 12. And he said, if that works for y'all, I said, whatever you'll allow us to do, we'll be more than happy to do. He said, well, the ladies are putting this together, and he said, the board's going to meet this afternoon, and we're going to get it all nailed down. I said, real good, thank you. Thank you, Pastor Bob. So I emailed Susie back, told her, I said, well, I'm just waiting to hear back from Pastor Bob, but this is the tentative schedule for Saturday and Sunday. She said, okay, sounds great. Well, then Bob sends me an email back. We're praying about it, and God. Bob sends me an email. Where's God? Bob sends me an email back and said, well, the board met, and we were wondering. We're gonna, if it's okay with y'all, we're just gonna cancel the Sunday school at 10 o'clock. Y'all can start at 11. And we'll just kind of let the rest of the day be how the Lord wants it to be. I said, yeah, that'll work, buddy. That'll work just fine. That'd be just perfect. I said, hey, that's exactly, they wanted it to be open to where the community felt, because Two Rivers isn't a very big community. They wanted it to not be more of a service, but to be like a community event where the local people could come. And I said, that's exactly why we're in Alaska. That's the purpose of our trip. So again, God worked it all out. We just give it to Him, and we allow Him to take care of everything. As I talked about last week and the week before, we had some contributions for the Alaska trip. After we're already done and ready to go, we had some more contributions come in towards it, and I thought, well, we'll just carry those over for next year. And then, as I talked about before, in Fairbanks, Mrs. Murray has a 5-bedroom house, and she was going to let us stay there, and then our accommodations were taken care of. Well, she called me and she said, well, there was a family in need, a family of 5, and I let them move into my house. So we'll get by. We have cots and stuff. We'll manage. And I thought, well, I'll just see if I can find some accommodations there in Fairbanks. And the contributions that we had received covered the cost of the accommodations in Fairbanks. God provided before we even knew we needed it. And so it's all about God being there. We sing a song that says right on time. God's timing is impeccable. It's never off. It's never short. It's never too long. I was thinking about this. I was putting this sermon together. It's often said that timing is everything. I remember some of you may remember the comedian Gallagher. He had a little routine about timing that was quite funny. But timing is the very most important thing to make everything come together and make it. You think about athletes. The entire any sport that you play requires impeccable timing if you're going to be good at it. Have you ever played baseball and somebody said, "Now wait on the ball"? Timing. It has to be. If in order for everything to work out right, the timing. I thought about this when I was studying this about Lazarus. There had to be a timing issue in the 3 days. When Lazarus had died and Jesus came to Mary and said, "Oh, where have you been? My brother died." He said, "Where is he?" "Well, he's in the tomb." "Okay, we'll open the tomb." What'd she say? "Oh, wait a minute. It's been 3 days. By now he stinketh." is what the scripture says. If it had been 1 day or 2 days, which she's made the same comment, it had to be, Jesus' timing had to be impeccable to the place that she realized there was going to be something very bad about opening this tomb. But God could demonstrate His glory and His power when the timing was right. When things happened the way that it needed to happen for His glory to be revealed. You know, you've heard the saying many times, oh, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, or the right place at the wrong time, or vice versa. Have you ever been exactly in the right place at the right time? That's timing. It requires timing. The timing of things have to fall into place in order for it to work out the way it needs to work out. When Jesus told the disciples, well, the time has come that I must be crucified, and Peter's like, oh no, that ain't going to happen. He said, get behind me, Satan. You're thinking of the things of the world and not the things of God. Jesus' second coming, the timing is very, very important. We look at it and we hear prophecy about it and we see all kinds of things, and we're studying Matthew 20, chapter 24 on Wednesday night right now, and Jesus tells the disciples all about the things that are going to happen. And the timing is impeccable. The timing is dead on perfect. All the things that are going to happen, they'll happen exactly in the order that Jesus told us. It's not going to get messed up. Hillary, Trump, nobody else can mess it up. Putin, nobody can mess up that timing. Because God's in control of those things. And God put those things in place before the foundation of the world, that these things would happen in a specific order and a specific time, that for the reason of displaying the glory of His Son. The same thing happens in our life. You know, there was a time that I thought, you know, I wasted a lot of years. But God's timing is perfect. Our lives, we think, oh, I really messed this up, and I could have done more for the Lord if I had started here, or I could have done things different. But see, we'll never get the timing right until we realize that we're not in control. When you come up to bat and they tell you to wait on the ball, that's exactly the same analogy that Jesus gives us. We got to wait on the Lord and let His timing come into play in our life. Because when His timing comes, when He calls us in and He gives it, we begin to follow His steps. When we realize that we're not in control of anything, we can begin to work on our timing. When you step up to that baseball plate, the home plate, and you got a bat in your hand, guess what? You're not in control of anything except that bat. You're not in control of when he throws the ball. You're not in control of how fast he throws the ball. You're not in control of where he throws the ball. You're not in control of anything except that bat. The same way in our life, we're not in control of anything except responding to what God gives us. And if we don't wait on the ball and we get in a hurry, guess what? Strike one. See, timing. God's timing is dead on, and it's about being patient and realizing I'm not in control. I can only respond to what God sends my way. If God gives us something to do, we can follow in that and be obedient to Him, and His timing again will be displayed in perfection of how He wants things to happen in our life. We get in such a hurry. We were talking about that in practice this morning. Where's that? Linda was getting in a hurry. She looks at me like, me? But we were talking about that. We so many times God gives us something to do, and we're like, okay, I want to get her done now. And God said, no, that's not timing. It has to be on His time. It has to be specific, and it has to be right on. We have these 8 baptisms today. 8 people that have come forward wanting to baptize. Well, we just started with 1. Doreen was the first one. I want to get baptized. Okay, we'll set it up. And then Hollywood wanted to, so what day works good? So we'll just set it up for that day, and we'll get it all put together, and we'll do it. And then another, and then another, and then another, and then Tuesday night in youth, Corey and Brendan were the only 2 that showed up. And I thought, what's up with that? But Corey wanted to be baptized. Had asked me if he could be baptized. And I knew I needed to sit down and explain some things to him about being baptized. So that gave us a whole 2 hours to sit in here. And we have a video series that we watch. The video series was dead spot on, perfect lesson. When the lesson was over, we sat in here and we visited about it. And then Brendan accepted the Lord right here out of this chair one Sunday night. By the time the conversation was over, Brendan said, I think I better get baptized too, Pastor. God's timing is impeccable and it's perfect. If we'll just follow and watch thank God for Corey, because we were sitting in my office. Them two is the only two that showed up, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to show the video because the rest of them will come next week and then I have to show it over again. And I'm going there and I'm just kind of running through my mind, what am I going to do? And Corey goes, well, what are you going to teach us, Pastor? Well, come on, we got to go do something. So come in here and run the video, and God's timing again was dead spot on perfect. Exactly when it needed to be, exactly who needed to be there, exactly who needed to hear it, for the specific purpose that God has, that at 12 o'clock today, God's glory will be revealed as we baptize them two boys. But see, we want to get in a hurry. Well, I don't know what's happening. That song, Are You Washed in the Blood, when we was practicing it on Wednesday, that rhythm just came to me on that song, and it just fitted so good. And then I was like, well, Lord, that's an old hymn, and people have been singing it a long time the other way. He said, yeah, but you're going to need it this way when you get to Alaska to get a hold of somebody. Somebody somewhere will hear it that way, and it'll speak to them. The little bitty things that sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Just, again, the flag thing. The obedience, just, even when it seems like that's not the way it goes, that's not the way we've always sang the song. So what? That doesn't mean that it's, the only thing etched in stone is that I'm saved through Jesus Christ. That's what's permanent, that's what's eternal, is our salvation in Jesus Christ, and the timing of everything else is all in His time. All the things that He would have do, all the things that He would have put into place. We've been here working on our 5th year, 4.5 years. And when we need someone to fill the pulpit, He sends Alan Davis just to come and join us. Join us in spirit, join us in heart, and join us in every way. That as we need something, it's already there. I've already prepared the path for you. The timing is there. All you have to do is walk it. All you have to do is walk in that obedience. Lord, you know, there's a prayer that we all know. It's a prayer that we've recited. A lot of us can recite it from heart. It's called the Serenity Prayer. It's written by Reinhold Niebuhr, who lived from 1892 to 1971. And I'll read the first part that all of us know, but what I didn't realize, there's a whole lot more to it. The first part is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But he went on. That's not where he stopped. He said, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that He will make all things right if I surrender to His will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with Him forever in the next. Amen. That's the prayer that he wrote. So I'm like, this says, okay, I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to wait for the ball. And I want to do everything exactly the way He wants me to do it. Because there's going to be hardships and there's going to be things that come along in this life, that I might be somewhat a little bit happy here. But in my obedience and knowing that I have followed Him through, that I will be supremely happy in the next life. See, there's a purpose and a point for everything. God's timing you. There's so many things going on in our world today that the events that are out there are just, you can't keep track of everything that's going on. There's so much. Des and I were talking about that this week, that I remember when I was a kid, you'd watch the news and they'd give you a pretty good news report of everything that's going on around you. Pretty much now they just report what's happening in the valley, and that's it. If it happens outside of Maricopa County, we really don't need to know about it. There's a lot of things that are happening. If you go on and you start looking, there's just a tremendous amount of prophecies being spilled out there. There's fear being spread everywhere. All kinds of things are happening. And I think about Peter. And what Peter must have felt when Jesus said, it's time for me to be crucified. The immediate response to Peter was, nuh-uh, I'm going to stop that. That ain't happening because I said so. And I'm going to do whatever I got to do. See, Peter was being very diligent about his loyalty to the Lord and saying, I'm going to stand up for you. But see, we don't have, that's not good timing. Because we don't represent Jesus, He represents us. We walk in His ways. We follow the way He would go. We go His way because His way is already set up. It's already, God put it together before the foundation. When we realize that I'm not in control of anything except how I react to what's coming. If I swing at the pitch and I don't hit it, it's a strike. If I stand there and watch it go by and it's a good pitch, it's going to be a strike. All I have control over is reacting to what Jesus sends my way. And if it's a hardship, that's as he wrote in that, as Reinhold wrote in that prayer, let me remember that's the perfecting of the peace. That's teaching me how to have peace through my hardships. Through the things that are going wrong and the things that seem like all of us bad, I can have peace knowing that He's in control. Even when He goes south, even when everything goes bad, God is still in control. I'm sure there were plenty of times when Moses thought, oh, what's going on? I ain't getting this. This is getting too hard. Elijah, Lord, enough. Just kill me. It's getting too hard. I can't handle it. And God won't put anything on me more than I can handle, or I didn't know I could handle this much. You can. You can if you're going to do it by yourself. You have to wait for His timing. Okay, Lord. Buford told me this morning, he was praying and been praying and been praying and been praying about his hearing. He came in this morning and said, the Lord restored my hearing last night. He didn't quit praying. He didn't stop. Steve, the guy that sprays the church for pests, came by yesterday or Friday. We was talking and I said, think about Daniel. He prayed for rain. Is there a cloud? No. Okay, I got to pray some more. The first answer is, I got to pray some more. He sends the guy back. Is there a cloud? No. Okay, we're going to pray some more. I wonder what the guy running back and forth looking for the cloud was thinking. All right, one more trip and I'm going to tell him to go jump in the lake. Had enough of this. Back and forth to look for a cloud. There ain't no cloud. There ain't a cloud nowhere. I don't need to go over there. I can see from here there ain't no clouds. Finally he comes back. Yeah, there's one little cloud looks like a hand. Then he goes, praise the Lord. It's going to rain. Wonder what that guy thought. That one little cloud is going to rain. God's timing was perfect. God's timing is always right on. You just keep doing what He tells us to do. Maybe we got to pray for a long time. Maybe He answers our prayer the very moment we pray it. Jose's getting all set up to do that kidney transplant. That's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks. He's been praying about this for a year. Longer. We've been praying for Denise at least that long. We could have given up a long time ago. Well, I guess God ain't going to do it. God said, well, you're going to quit praying. You're absolutely right. We pray until God, that Lynn used to say, pray until something happens. We don't stop. God's timing is always right. We have to trust His timing. Let's go to Habakkuk and see how he felt about it, about God's timing. Habakkuk chapter 1. I read 16 and 17. Therefore they said, and now Habakkuk, he's a little frustrated. Therefore they sacrifice under their net, and they burn incense under their drag, because by them their portion is fat, and their meat is plenteous. Shall they therefore empty their nets and not spare, continue to slay the nations? He's like, these guys are evil, and they're doing everything wrong. Why does nothing happen to them? What's up with this? I don't understand. Keep reading in chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. Here he says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. I'm going to sit up here, I'm going to wait for God to tell me, and then I'm going to be ready to answer Him when He calls on me. When He tells me what's going on, I'm going to be all ready. I'm going to get all gunned up here. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it a plan upon tables, that he may run and readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.